Hey, Sebastian from the Metal God Meltdown. Today I am joined by.
Sahil Makhija, also known as Demonstealer, a metal musician from India, and I've been doing this for about 20 plus years now.
Brilliant. It's great to be chatting to you this evening. Your new album, Propaganda Machine, gets released at the end of month. Under Your new album, Propaganda Machine, gets released at the end of the month. How impatient are you waiting for its release?
Oh, I am extremely impatient because this is an album that I've been working on since 2019. So it's been a long, long time in the works, and I'm very eager to get it out.
Now, it's a long time, so you had it ready just before all the COVID madness. Then,
Well, actually, because the album has so many musicians on it, it actually took me a while to finalize the lineup, get them to record their parts, send it to the different guys, and then get everyone to finish. So while I was actually waiting for that, I started writing my 2021 EP called The Holocene Termination, and that had another bunch of musicians on it. And once again, I realized when you have a lot of musicians, there's a lot of scheduling and a lot of coordination. So that album was taking too much time. So finally, in 2020, I actually put out an album where I played everything, which I actually got done with in like 2 months. So that's actually what happened. It was just waiting for all the musicians to kind of finish their recording and get on with stuff. Because, it was a tough time for everyone. Some of them are touring musicians. Many of them had a lot of, like personal stuff to deal with. And, everyone sort of reacted differently to the pandemic. So I didn't want to be this, you know, guy chasing everyone down saying, I need the files now. I said, do it in your own time. And, we went on with it. I think it all worked out for the best.
brilliant. That's an interesting title as well. Can you tell us the influences behind that, the propaganda machine?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely inspired by the world and the events that have been taking place over the last, I would say, the last maybe 7 or 8 years, actually, maybe even 10. Um, right from everything that happened with like Brexit, with all the stuff that happened in America with the Black Lives Matter protest, the Russia-Ukraine war, all the stuff that's happening in India, and the general sort of political climate in the world and the sort of uh, extreme uh, ends of the spectrum, how social media has manipulated, like literally life has inspired the album.
Excellent. Like I said, I've just gotten the album today to listen to, so I can't really like say too much about it at the minute. Um, but it is your fifth album. Would you say this is a complete package for your work over the years?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there are always aspects as a musician that you feel that you've improved upon or gotten better at. And hopefully, with this album, people hear the evolution because I feel like my music is a reflection of me as a person. And hopefully, you hear the evolution from album to album, whether it's in songwriting, whether it's in the subject matter of the lyrics, whether it's in my personal performance, whether it's the addition of all the other musicians, but hopefully you can hear that in the album.
Brilliant. So, will you be releasing any more tracks before the release date?
Yes, one of the things that because I have so many musicians featuring on my album, one of the things I like to do is kind of get everyone to film like a playthrough video, and I put out a video for pretty much every song on the record, and I've been doing this since the 2016 album with George Colias. So with this album as well, there will be 8 videos for 8 songs, and we're going to be putting out three before the album releases. So the third one comes out on the 10th of March, and then the fourth, sorry, not the 10th one, the third song comes out on the 10th of March, and then on the 31st, the day the album releases, there'll be another video as well. And once the album is out, the remainder of the songs will be put out on video every 2 or 3 weeks. So there's a lot of stuff coming up.
That's exciting. And I love the album artwork. I'm a big fan of album artwork. And is it going to be coming out on vinyl as well as digital?
Yes, for the first time in my 20 odd years of being a musician, I get to have the pleasure to put out an album on vinyl thanks to Black Lion Records, who I signed with for this album. So, extremely stoked about that, and couldn't have asked for better artwork to be put onto a vinyl than this album.
It is amazing. I love it. Will it be like an insert with that album, or is it just going to be as it is?
I think it's the two LP gatefold. I'm not 100% certain because I'm a novice when it comes to vinyl. So I just left it up to the record label. All I got to do is approve the designs and prints that they send me. But whatever they send me so far looks really good, and I'm excited to have it out.
Brilliant. Okay, so the album, like I said, does belong on vinyl, and that's epic. So I can't wait for that. Um, how difficult though is it to be a metal musician in India? Is it hard?
So in India, basically, when you choose to play metal music, you're kind of pretty much doing it as a hobby. There is no scope to really do it as a career or to make a living out of it. And especially given that most of the people who listen and play metal music in India are from a certain, I would say, well-to-do financial background. So they're all kind of living, and I myself included, we're all living lifestyles that require a certain kind of, you need to earn a certain amount of money to live that lifestyle. And you basically can't earn anything with metal in India. There's just like one band that's actually, I would say, sort of making a living playing metal music, and that is Bloody Wood. And that's also because they are largely like a massive sensation, and they've sort of uh, become the biggest export from India, and they also kind of were very smart to do it through YouTube. So they were able to build a super solid fan base using Patreon that supports them, and that allows them to do what they do. But it's one in a billion.
Wow. Okay. So what about tours? Are you planning to take the record on the road, and are there hopes to get into Europe?
So unfortunately, this with this project, because of the amount of different musicians that have performed on previous albums and this one, it is a almost impossible task to take this live because first of all, to find a lineup that can actually perform the material at the level it's played on the album is going to be a mammoth task. And if I do find musicians of that caliber, I'm going to have to pay them a lot of money to actually play and take time off and be on the road. And unfortunately, the project isn't as popular as I would like, so I wouldn't get the kind of offers I needed to actually make this a reality. And obviously, if if anyone's been following the metal news lately, we can see that touring is becoming more and more difficult. The finances are becoming extremely hard to manage. Even big bands like Gojira and Monuments are like literally like saying stuff like we don't make any money on tour. So that kind of puts uh, a lot more pressure on smaller artists. So it's unlikely I would financially be able to put this tour together uh, unless the band suddenly blows up. So I mean, I hope someday it happens, but for now, unfortunately, it will remain a studio project.
Okay, yeah. I mean that's difficult, but it is the way of the world at the minute, really is. Okay.
Yeah.
So then in a dream world, then let's say who would be the ultimate three bands that you would take on tour with you then?
Well, I mean, I think I'd be supporting supporting the bands that I go on tour with, because I would love to tour with. I mean, there's so many bands. I would love to tour with Behemoth. I would love to tour with Emperor. I would love to tour with like if it was Demon Steel, I'd love to go out with like some of the Tech Dead bands. So I'd love to go out with Obscura and maybe Artspire and Inferi and like that whole tech death metal space. I would love to do that with Demonstealer. With my other band, I would love to go out my other project, Demonic Resurrection, which is the band that can actually still tour because it's been around longer and has a bigger fan base and stuff. But with that project, I would love to go out with like Dimmu Borgir, Cradle of Filth, and Emperor, and have like a full-on old school black metal bill. It would be
Uh,
epic.
that would be epic. So with your other band then, what would you say has been the highlight playing live?
So with Demonic Resurrection, I mean, when we played Inferno Metal Festival in Norway in 2010, that was our first ever international gig. That was a huge moment for us. And also, I guess Bloodstock 2018 was an absolute riot of a show, and we had one of the best crowds ever. And we put out a full set with multicam footage and stuff online as well. So those were two of like the most memorable gigs we've ever played, I think.
Awesome. Going back to this album, on release day, do you intend to do like a live stream or anything special?
Well, I hadn't planned it, but now that you mentioned it, maybe I should I should get planning and do something. Even if it's just me doing a bit of chatting with the fans and playing a couple of the tracks on guitar, that might be a good idea. So yeah, maybe I will plan something and see how it goes.
Brilliant. Next one then, can you tell me which are your two favorite albums of all time?
Oh, that's a very difficult question. Well, yeah, especially narrowing it down to two, but one of them I would definitely say is Strapping Young Lad's album City. Um, I love Devin Townsend and I love all his projects and all his music, but none of his albums ever hit me the way City did. I don't know what it was. It was, I think, in 99 or 2000 that I was able to get a copy of the album from the States, and just the intensity of the music, the melodies, the chaotic sound of Devin Townsend, it just resonated with me in all the right ways, and that's definitely why it's one of my top albums. Um, if I have to narrow it down to two, I would put Blind Guardians, A Night at the Opera second, because for me that album is like the pinnacle of epic musicianship and storytelling and melodies. Like I would say that album is hugely inspirational to me as a singer, as like stuff that's in my sort of melodic DNA. A lot of it comes from that. So yeah, those would be two albums. And if I could be cheeky and throw in a third, I would say Death's Sound of Perseverance would be the third one, because I feel a a huge connection to Chuck in the way that he had to deal with so many lineup changes, and how every album was had different musicians, and that's kind of uh, feels very Demon Stealer to me. Like I connect with that part of it.
Brilliant. Sorry about my video. Okay. So is there a song written by someone else that you wish you had written?
Oh, there must be like a million songs that I wish I had written. Um, Obviously, if it would go back to these three albums that I mentioned. Like, obviously, there are a lot of new bands also that I'd have to go through my Spotify list to be like, oh yeah, that was the one I was thinking about. But I would love to have written Detox from the Strapping Young Lad album City. I would have loved to have written Scavenger of Human Sorrow, and I would have loved to have written the song And Then There Was Silence, which is like a 14-minute epic track with the most insane vocal melodies on it.
Brilliant. All right. So if there was a heavy metal song about yourself, what would it be called?
Oh, that's interesting. If there was a heavy metal, well, I think I literally did it on the first album. I literally did a song called Demonstealer. So I guess I kind of foreshadowed it. Not foreshadow is the wrong word, but I basically did it myself. But yeah, I guess Demonstealer would be the name of the song.
Brilliant. Okay. So now, can you give me four words to describe Demonstealer?
Well, I would like to say hardworking, hopefully polite, um, moderately skilled, and unrelenting in my passion. Passionate, I guess passionate would be a better word. Yeah.
Brilliant. Right. So it's just five questions now, either or either. So the first
All
one
right.
is small intimate gig or festival?
Small intimate gig.
Okay. Vindaloo, as you're in India, or Jalfrezi?
Yeah, what are the options? Sorry.
Vindaloo or Jalfrezi?
Oh, jalfrezi.
Okay. Cobra beer or Heineken?
Oh, I hate beer, so neither. But if I had to drink one, I guess Heineken.
Okay. Vinyl or digital?
Digital, because that's what I actually consume. I'd love to someday become a vinyl collector and have many, many vinyls.
Brilliant. And the final one, are you a saint or a sinner?
I'm definitely a sinner.
Okay. I want to thank you so much for your time tonight. Do you have any final words for your fans, our viewers, and listeners?
Yeah, well, thank you for everyone for listening, and I do hope you check out the album and the singles, and I really hope you enjoy it. And thank you for listening to this interview, and I really appreciate it. So yeah, cheers and stay metal.
Brilliant, mate. Thank you so much. Sorry about the video. I do blame the Russians, man, honestly. I'll get this up on site pretty soon, and hopefully we'll catch you around, and I'll get a review done as well, mate. All right. That's brilliant.
All right, cheers.
Thank you
All
so
right,
much
thank
for
you.
your time there. Thank you. Cheers, and bye-bye.
destroy